this is Lacey, your Las Vegas gal. I'm really excited about today's video. I'm bringing a very special friend, Misty Tiffany from Chicago Title. She's an expert in this industry that we're in, so I'm bringing her today. Welcome.
Thank you.
She's gonna join us today to talk a little bit about the role of a title company, what the heck a title company is. Do you even care what a title company is? No, maybe, I don't know. We're gonna figure it out during this video, right?
Yeah.
I think you should care, but we're gonna go through it and just give you kind of the basics of what a title company is, what their role is. But before we do that, I really think it's important to talk about you. Misty Tiffany's a badass in her own right, okay? You can bleep that if we need to.
I think that in my own head, but you know.
She's a badass. Here's what I love. Here's what I love about you. You've been in this business way longer than I have. You have seen every side of this business. You've sold general real estate in San Diego and California. You've worked for the new home builders for like 10 years. And now you're in the title department or the title world of this crazy real estate industry that we've both chosen to be a part of. Tell me, just give me like 2 minutes, 2 seconds, whatever. Like, what in the heck have you been doing the last X number of years in this industry, and what are your thoughts about where we're going?
I put a ton of people in homes is what I've been doing the last few years. So I came straight from waiting tables and bartending, helping people, you know, have a good time to having a good time in their actual home. So selling was phenomenal. I loved it. I still love it today. I chose to come to title 3 years ago so I can be a little bit more with my family. The weekends were starting to put a little bit of damper on things. So now I can still help my clients like yourselves on the weekends, but I can do it remotely from a phone or a computer, you know, camping or wherever we need to be. So that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. I'm helping agents now convert to more transactions.
That's awesome.
That's basically what I do. So before I converted people to help them get into their homes and make memories in their new homes, and now I help agents do that for their clients.
I love it.
And now I'm on the back end of closing the transaction, so I get to see them super excited right before moving in, or maybe selling their home, going to their new upscaled home or whatever it might be. So,
I love it.
Good times.
You really do have a lot of information that you share with us agents, and you are probably one of the best support systems, for me at least, in this city. So what you need to know as a viewer, whether you're a real estate agent or you're someone who's thinking about moving to Vegas or buying, is the title company is one of the most important roles in a transaction when you're in the process of purchasing and selling a home. I mean, you guys hold the keys to the entire kingdom.
So it's the actual, it's the main part of the transaction. We handle the transaction from the beginning to the end and facilitate it between the buyer and the seller to make sure that everyone gets to their final agreement with the contract states.
So let's just say, what the heck is a title company? Can we just break it down? Because I mean, let's just go basics.
So that's a lot of people, agents and regular people, get that confusing. So it's two separate things actually. There's escrow, which facilitates the transaction from the beginning and end to the end. And then there's an actual title policy. So technically I do sell insurance now. It's a policy that covers the home to make sure that, so sellers moving out and buyers moving into the property. The buyer wants to make sure before they actually get on the property that it's free and clear of any liens that may be on the property. So that's what
any unpaid debt, any clouds hanging over that house. We want those cleared away.
We want nothing on the property.
Got it.
So hypothetically, Chicago Title wouldn't do this, but say we did miss something on that, and client didn't pay their taxes in 2010. For some reason we missed that, and there was a lien on the property that we didn't catch throughout the process. So that's where the title policy would kick in once the buyer got on the property. So say it's a year later, they've been living in the home, and they're like, hey, the government wants their money, and it should have been paid by the seller. Well, the buyer doesn't feel that they should have to pay that because it wasn't their debt.
Absolutely. It's not their tax money, but it's attached to the home because it's the previous seller.
It's attached to the actual land, the deed itself, the land itself, the APN, I guess you'd say. So at that point, they're going to come back to the title company that gave them that policy and say, hey, you missed whatever it might be, the taxes in this scenario. And so that's when the title policy would kick in, and we'd say, okay, yeah, we have to pay that because we missed it.
So it's an insurance policy to make sure that you're not buying a house that has old debt and old people's baggage connected to it. I mean, it's like, to boil it down, that's the reality.
Correct.
And it's important as agents, you know, so we the agent are typically the one who chooses which title company we're going to move forward with. A lot of times it could be dependent on what the seller prefers, because they might have a company that's already done a bunch of work on the sale of their home, and they may say, please start with this company because we want to make sure that we can finish the deal. But when we have the opportunity to choose the title company, it is the buyer's choice, which is really great. We often go with Chicago Title because Misty Tiffany works for this company, and because you support us so much, and because honestly, you're one of the best. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
So my role as well is to be an extension of a team
Right.
like Lacey. So when I know if there is, not every transaction, as much as we want it to go super duper smooth, there are times that stuff is going to pop up.
Right.
So when that pops up and she makes that phone call to me, I know that I can take care of it because she's my client. I want her clients to be happy and get to that happy place where they're all done with the process as well. So that's why it's really important to trust what the agent is saying. This is what they do day in and day out, day in and day out. And they've had multiple title companies that they've worked with, and they know the ones that are going to give that VIP service.
Right. And it's not very typical for you as a buyer or even a seller to be in direct contact with the title company very much. There's a little bit when it comes to scheduling signings or having questions about things, there's definitely that. But these are really our guidance posts, our resources, our experts that we as the agents and my team, we rely on when we get into a situation where our job limitation comes to the end, our licensing gets to here, and then that's where they pick up and they begin their role. So it's just super important, I think, for people to understand that, there is another player in the game of buying a home, and it's the title company and the escrow company, right?
Yeah.
And it's super important to know kind of that your agent, who your agent's working with, or maybe ask that question, if you're not utilizing the Cerrone Group, which why wouldn't you? That makes no sense whatsoever.
None.
But maybe it's because you're not moving to Vegas. You should still be calling us so we can help you find a realtor, but that's another video. But with that being said, you should be asking your realtor, who are you working with as a title company? Can I understand what company that is? Because one of the things that maybe nobody really realizes is title companies can close their doors overnight and everyone who's connected to them can be kind of up S creek, if you know what I mean, if you're not set up for success.
Exactly.
Right.
And then that policy is not going to be paid out if an issue did come up in the future. So it is important to pick a big nationwide company that has, I hate to say it, but deep pockets, I guess, to make sure that if that policy, that we have to pay on it, that there's assets there to do that.
And that's one thing that kind of just back up to in any insurance conversation, any insurance, whether it's car, house, pool, whatever, title, you want to make sure you're going with a reputable company that has deep pockets that is going to pay you when you need to pull a claim, right?
That's right.
And unfortunately, in the last several years, during the recession and since then, there's been several opportunities for that to happen. And many buyers and many sellers have been kind of stuck because their agent didn't do the research. They didn't interview the title companies. They didn't form bonding relationships that are going to make sure that when I make a phone call at 8 p.m. on a Saturday night, she's answering the phone, right? So I just think it's important. I'm really glad you joined me today. I think it's also really exciting because I'm really trying to showcase to our audience who is behind the scenes making this thing happen. Because while it may look like it's me, it's almost always not me. It could be me if I'm your agent or somebody from our team, but we are one baby part of this big ship that's moving.
Exactly. And there's a lot behind the scenes that people don't realize that happens in escrow. Because an escrow officer, which I'm not, is doing so much on those emails, like contacting the lender, how much is the payoff, little things like that people don't realize how much time it actually does take. If there are liens, us having to get, hey, we have to pay that off. We have to figure out where, solar panels is a huge one in Vegas that agents sometimes forget. Like that is a lien on the property.
It's a loan against the property.
It's a loan against the property. So sometimes they won't even say anything. We won't realize until after we open escrow, like 7 days in. Hey, there's solar panels. Oh yeah, we have to transfer that lien. Or that debt needs to be picked up by the new buyer, and they have to approve that. So that's a long process in itself behind the scenes that no one knows what that escrow officer is doing, but they're working their little tails off. I promise you.
And we love our escrow officers. Chicago Title has been so good to our clients. There's been many, many times where we've been in a pinch where, because this stuff happens. All we're doing is managing timelines for you guys and really emotions, because we want to make sure you feel good about everything we're doing. But emotions and timelines is the basis of what really our job is. We end negotiation and making sure that, we're working with the best people. So when we work with experts like Misty and her team at Chicago Title, we have the luxury of knowing and resting a little bit that we're going to be covered because they're always going to have our back. So my favorite thing, and I don't like when we have a pinch that comes up, but my favorite thing is when I have a pinch in any kind of an experience, a transaction, my buyer, my seller, whatever that is, and I know I'm working with you, I don't really stress or worry. I just pick up the phone and make the call, and I let them do the worrying for me. Now I'm gonna worry if they're running into walls, right? But our job is to make sure that we are balancing, the worry and the frustration with letting the experts handle their job and do what they know how to do. So I'm just really grateful for having you as a part of our team here at the Cerrone Group. It's exciting to know that we have set ourselves up and our clients up for success working with the experts. I mean, she knows more than I do about this industry. You should probably choose her as a realtor, but you can't because she's no longer a realtor.
Yeah.
And if
all referrals go to her.
Yeah.
All referrals go
and
here.
And if you do become a realtor, you better come and work with my team because otherwise I'm out of business. I'm going to tell you that right now. But really, thank you so much for joining me. If you want to get in touch with Misty, Tiffany, or just ask her anything about just title, because I don't know, you're interested and you want to learn, please do me a favor. There's a link in the description below. Fill out the form and just mention in the comment, please connect me with Misty, Tiffany, and we will definitely do that. If you're a real estate agent, because I know some of you guys watch my videos, and hi, I love you, and
I love you too.
yeah, we love you. Listen, we're big believers in collaboration over competition. We do not, stick our knives in the corners and try to get our competition and anybody else out of our way. We are big believers in putting our arms around this community of real estate professionals. So if you're a realtor, do yourself a freaking favor. Click the link below and ask us to connect you with Misty, Tiffany. You need to be using Chicago Title. These guys know what they're doing. They've saved my rear end a lot of times because stuff happens, right? And that's what their job is. Their job is filled with stuff happens. So thanks for handling the stuff. I'm using nice words now. And I hope you'll come back on the channel. I think it'll be fun for us to get some Q&A going and just keep the conversation rolling.
Yep, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to click the link below.